In a world that worships attention, the truly powerful man remains unseen. He speaks little, reveals less, and lets curiosity do the work of domination. People fear what they cannot read, and obey what they cannot predict. Machiavelli once said, "Never let others see the depths of your intentions, because once they know your plan, they control your fate." But when you remain mysterious, every silence becomes strategy, and every move becomes a question they can't answer. This is the hidden power of being mysterious. Never reveal your full hand. This is the first and most essential law of mystery and power. When people think they fully understand you, they stop respecting you. They stop fearing you. And fear, in Machiavelli's world, is not cruelty, it is control. The essence of influence lies not in how loud you speak or how often you are seen, but in how much uncertainty you can create in the minds of others. Once they can predict you, they own you. Predictability is the death of power. The man who is fully known becomes ordinary, but the man wrapped in mystery becomes unforgettable. When you reveal everything, your thoughts, emotions, goals, you surrender control of your image. People begin to dissect you, categorize you, and decide your limits. But when you give them only fragments, they are forced to fill in the blanks. And when they fill in the blanks, they project power onto you. The unknown magnifies your image. People assume that what they cannot see must be greater than it is. This illusion works in politics, in relationships, in business, and in every arena where dominance is desired. Machiavelli understood that perception is more powerful than truth. The wise man shapes how others see him by carefully deciding what to hide. Think of power as a game of cards. The weak man lays his cards on the table, desperate to be trusted. The powerful man keeps them close, smiling as others wonder what he's holding. Every secret becomes a weapon. Every silence becomes pressure. When others cannot read your intentions, they make mistakes. They overthink, they second-guess, they expose their own weaknesses, trying to uncover yours. This is how mystery defeats strength. You don't need to be louder or smarter, only harder to read. Uncertainty makes people cautious, and caution makes them slow. The art of not revealing everything is not about deceit for its own sake. It is about control. When you speak less, you control the narrative. When you act with restraint, you dictate the pace. The powerful understand timing, when to appear, when to withdraw, and when to say nothing. Each pause, each hidden motive, each unreadable expression keeps others unbalanced. Mystery is not silence without purpose. It is silence with calculation. It forces others to reveal themselves first. The one who speaks last always holds the advantage. In every human interaction, people are constantly trying to size each other up. They measure your worth through your words and your emotions. If you are quick to explain yourself, they sense insecurity. If you always justify your actions, they sense weakness. But if you stay composed and reveal little, you become a mirror for their imagination. They start to imagine strength where there may be none. That illusion of depth becomes real power. Because power is rarely about what you are, it's about what people believe you are. The mysterious man always has the upper hand because people fear what they cannot define. Machiavelli would say that being unreadable is not an accident, it's a discipline. It means mastering your reactions, controlling your face, your tone, and your timing. It means never showing your full desire or anger, even when both burn inside you. The more you hide your emotions, the more others reveal theirs. You become the observer, not the player. And when you are the observer, you hold control over the game. To reveal less is to rule more. The power of mystery is not in being distant. It is in being unpredictable, untouchable, and impossible to fully understand. Control what they see, hide what matters. This is the strategy that separates manipulators from masters. Power has never belonged to those who show everything. It belongs to those who understand what to reveal and what to conceal. People are simple in one regard. They believe what they can see. They take appearances as truth, rarely questioning what lies behind them. This is why the wise never fight to be understood. They fight to control perception. Machiavelli understood that human nature is drawn to illusions more than facts. If you can shape what others see, You can dictate what they believe, and once you control belief, you control behavior. To control perception is to hold the strings of influence. The powerful know that showing too much truth invites scrutiny, and scrutiny destroys mystique. When you reveal everything about yourself, your emotions, your goals, your methods, you make yourself vulnerable to manipulation. People can use your truth against you, but when you give them only a version of it, carefully constructed and incomplete, you remain the one holding the cards. You let them see a piece of the picture, just enough to keep their attention, but never enough for them to understand your design. The mystery around you becomes your armor, protecting your real intentions from exposure. Every strong leader, every strategist, every manipulator of men understands this. The world runs on perception, not reality. Kings, politicians, and lovers all play the same game. They craft an image that serves their goals, not their emotions. They understand that reputation is more valuable than honesty. If you appear noble, competent, and controlled, people will trust you even if the truth is otherwise. They will follow what they see, not what is real. The wise never waste energy trying to fix every misunderstanding. They let others believe what benefits them. A lie that strengthens your position is often more useful than a truth that weakens it. But hiding what matters is not the same as lying. It is choosing silence over exposure. It is protecting your intentions until they are complete. Power is built in silence and revealed through results. Those who speak of their plans before acting invite interference. The silent planner, on the other hand, works in shadows and surprises the world with the outcome. Machiavelli believed that unpredictability is a form of dominance. When people cannot see where your next move comes from, they cannot prepare for it. They can only react. And the one who forces others to react is always the one in control. Controlling what people see also means mastering your expression. A careless face or an uncontrolled emotion can betray your entire strategy. The powerful know how to perform. They wear masks as armor, using gestures, tone, and presence to project confidence even when uncertain. The mask becomes a tool, not a deception, but a weapon of influence. People believe the version of you that you present, and so you must present the version that serves you best. Every smile, every silence, every glance is a signal. Use it intentionally. You must understand that human eyes are hungry. They are always searching for weakness, for signs of vulnerability, for clues about who you are. If you give them nothing to feed on, they invent their own image of you, and that image will usually be more powerful than your reality. Let them imagine depth. Let them assume your motives are grander than they are. The mystery keeps them respectful, even fearful. It keeps them guessing instead of attacking. The man who controls what others see doesn't need to fight openly. His image fights for him. Machiavelli's wisdom was simple. Never be transparent, because transparency invites danger. Show the world what strengthens you, hide what could destroy you, and you will never be at the mercy of anyone's understanding but your own. Silence is a weapon, not a weakness. The loudest man in the room is often the weakest because he reveals himself with every word. He shows his emotions, his desires, his fears, and his limits without realizing it. The silent man, on the other hand, holds power in his restraint. His silence creates tension. It forces others to wonder what he's thinking, to fill the gaps with their own imagination, and imagination always exaggerates. People fear what they cannot predict, and silence is the perfect shield for unpredictability. It is not emptiness, it is control. Machiavelli understood that silence is not the absence of words, but the presence of calculation. When you remain silent, you create space that others rush to fill. Most people cannot tolerate silence. They become anxious when there are no words to cling to, and in that anxiety, they expose themselves. They reveal their thoughts, their intentions, their weaknesses, all while you remain a still observer. This is the advantage of the quiet strategist. He learns more than he reveals. Every unnecessary word you avoid becomes a layer of armor around your mind. Those who speak too soon or too often trade power for attention. Those who wait and listen trade attention for dominance. In silence, your presence becomes heavier. People start to measure your words because they are rare. They listen more closely when you finally choose to speak. This gives your voice authority, even if your ideas are simple. Power grows through scarcity. When your words are few, they gain value. When they are constant, they lose all weight. The disciplined man uses his silence like a blade, invisible, patient, and deadly when finally drawn. He does not react to every insult, does not explain every move, and does not defend himself unnecessarily. The man who explains himself gives others the right to judge him. The man who stays silent gives them nothing to hold on to. Silence also keeps emotions from turning into weakness. Anger, pride, and desperation are powerful forces, but when expressed without control, they destroy credibility. The wise man feels deeply, but shows little. He lets the storm rage inside, while his surface remains calm. This contrast creates mystery, and mystery commands respect. People fear calmness under pressure because it signals strength they cannot measure. They don't know whether you are unaffected or simply planning something greater. That uncertainty gives you psychological power. The man who can stay silent in chaos makes everyone else nervous. In the art of influence, silence can be more persuasive than argument. When someone challenges you, staying quiet forces them to question their own words. They begin to doubt themselves, wondering whether they've gone too far or misjudged your reaction. Silence turns the mirror on them, reflecting their insecurities back at them. This is how you dominate without confrontation. You make others expose their own flaws while you keep yours hidden. Machiavelli would say that silence creates a kind of fear that is more effective than aggression. The unknown is always more terrifying than the visible. In relationships, business, or politics, silence separates the leaders from the followers. The follower speaks to be noticed. The leader speaks only to command. The follower needs validation. The leader needs results. Each moment of silence is a test of discipline, and discipline is the foundation of authority. The world rewards those who can endure discomfort. Remaining silent when others expect you to speak is an act of control. It shows that your emotions do not dictate your actions. That alone makes people respect you. Silence, when mastered, becomes a language of power. It says, "I am not desperate to be understood." It signals confidence that does not need to prove itself. Every pause, every withheld word, every unreadable expression makes you more formidable. It turns ordinary conversations into psychological duels that you always win. Because when others cannot read you, they cannot reach you. And the one who cannot be reached cannot be controlled. Let them chase your secrets. This is how you turn curiosity into control. Human nature is addicted to mystery. People cannot stand the idea of not knowing something, especially about someone who seems powerful, confident, or different. When they can't read you, they start imagining who you are. That imagination makes them obsessed. They study your behavior, interpret your silences, analyze your every move. And while they are busy trying to understand you, you are the one controlling their attention. This is the art of psychological dominance, not through force, but through fascination. When you are mysterious, people fill in the blanks with their own desires and fears. They project strength, intelligence, or danger onto you because the human mind hates uncertainty. It tries to complete what it doesn't understand. The less you reveal, the more powerful their imagination becomes, and imagination often paints a far greater image than reality ever could. This illusion works in your favor. You don't have to prove your worth when others are busy convincing themselves of it. You become a riddle they can't solve, and that gives you presence even when you're not around. Curiosity is control because it makes people focus on you. Attention is the modern currency of power, and the mysterious man earns it effortlessly. He doesn't chase validation or explain himself. He lets others chase understanding. Every unanswered question about you becomes a hook in their mind. Every detail you withhold becomes a thread they can't stop pulling. This is why mystery outlasts charm. Charm attracts quickly, but mystery keeps people coming back. They don't get bored because they never fully figure you out. Machiavelli would call this manipulation of perception, using the weakness of human curiosity as your weapon. To make people chase your secrets, you must master the art of controlled revelation. Show just enough to intrigue, but never enough to satisfy. Speak in layers. Act with purpose. Allow contradictions in your character. Let people see hints of greatness, flashes of emotion, or fragments of your story, but never the full truth. When they think they're close to understanding you, change direction. Leave them wondering again. Each time you do, their curiosity deepens, and so does your power over them. People respect what they can't define because it feels larger than life. Predictability breeds contempt. Mystery breeds fascination. Those who reveal everything lose all leverage. When people know your motives, they can predict your moves. When they know your emotions, they can manipulate you. But when your thoughts are hidden, they are forced to react to uncertainty. They hesitate. They overthink. And in their confusion, they give you control. The one who knows less is always at a disadvantage. Keeping your secrets close is not about lying. It is about protecting your influence. The fewer people understand your true nature, the harder it becomes for them to use it against you. Mystery also elevates your value in relationships, friendships, and leadership. People crave what they can't fully have. When your attention or approval is rare, it becomes valuable. When your presence is unpredictable, it becomes magnetic. The key is balance. Reveal enough to create connection, but not enough to kill curiosity. A mysterious person does not isolate themselves. They engage, but on their own terms. They know how to speak just enough to keep others wanting more. Letting others chase your secrets also gives you time. Time to observe, to plan, to act without interference. When people are occupied with their assumptions about you, they stop watching your real moves. You gain the space to act freely, to make decisions in silence, to strike when least expected. The pursuit of your mystery blinds them to your strategy. That is how curiosity becomes a trap, one they walk into willingly. Machiavelli understood that power is not only in being feared or loved, but in being pursued. And nothing makes people chase you harder than the secrets you never give away. Mystery creates authority because what cannot be understood cannot be challenged. When people cannot predict you, they cannot control you, and that uncertainty makes them cautious. The powerful have always known that authority is not built on constant explanation but on distance, discipline, and the unknown. The man who is too accessible loses his edge, while the one who keeps parts of himself hidden commands attention without asking for it. Machiavelli understood that fear and respect are often born from the same source, uncertainty. When people are unsure of what you might do next, they treat you carefully. A leader wrapped in mystery controls the emotional tone of a room. His presence makes others measure their words, rethink their assumptions, and guard their behavior. They sense there is more to him than they can see, and that sense keeps them alert. Predictability, on the other hand, breeds familiarity, and familiarity kills respect. Once people believe they've figured you out, they stop fearing you. They stop listening as closely. They begin to treat your authority as something ordinary. But mystery reverses that process. It builds distance that demands attention. The mysterious man never tries to prove his worth. He allows others to assume it. To create authority through mystery, one must master the art of restraint. The more disciplined your speech and actions are, the more powerful your image becomes. Say less than necessary, act with purpose, and always leave room for interpretation. This makes people overthink your motives and decisions. They attribute intelligence and depth to even your smallest gestures. They search for meaning in your silences, not realizing that the silence itself is the strategy. Power grows when people believe you know more than you reveal. They begin to rely on your presence as a guide, even when you say nothing. Mystery also separates leaders from the crowd. The crowd seeks approval, while the leader values control. When you reveal too much, you lower yourself to the level of those who judge you. But when you maintain a veil of mystery, you stay above them. You project calm authority because you are not desperate to be understood. This is why the most influential figures throughout history often spoke little and revealed less. Their restraint created a myth around them. That myth was their power. People follow myths more easily than they follow men, because myths live in the imagination, and imagination cannot be defeated by reason. Machiavelli knew that leadership was not only about ability, but about perception. You can have great skill and still lose control if people stop believing in your image. Mystery ensures that belief never dies. It makes people wonder what more you're capable of, what secrets you hold, what power you might reveal next. This curiosity keeps their respect alive even when you are silent or absent. The mysterious leader does not need to be everywhere. His reputation moves ahead of him. His absence becomes louder than another man's speech. Authority built on mystery also protects you from opposition. Enemies can only attack what they understand. When they cannot read your intentions, they hesitate. They waste time guessing while you move with freedom. Even those who dislike you are forced to acknowledge your control because they cannot find your weakness. Mystery is not arrogance. It is strategy. It is the art of showing confidence without exposure. It makes people think twice before confronting you because they fear what they don't know about you more than what they do. The secret is balance. Too much distance can create isolation, but too much openness destroys power. The great strategist walks between the two, close enough to be admired, distant enough to be feared. He reveals just enough to command loyalty and hides enough to preserve awe. That tension keeps authority alive. The mysterious man never fights for dominance. He allows others to hand it to him. Because in every circle of power, the one who is least understood is the one most respected, and in the end, respect is the truest form of authority. Always leave them wanting more. This is the final touch of true power. The greatest mistake people make is giving too much of themselves, too soon. When you are always available, your presence loses value. When you explain too much, your words lose weight. Power depends on scarcity. The less people can have of you, the more they desire you. Machiavelli understood that the human mind is wired to chase what it cannot easily possess. The forbidden, the limited, the incomplete. These things hold power because they awaken curiosity, hunger, and obsession. A mysterious presence uses this truth to make every interaction feel like a privilege. People respect what they cannot constantly access. When your attention is rare, it becomes a reward. When your emotions are controlled, they become meaningful. When your time is limited, it feels precious. This is why the powerful never overexpose themselves. They appear, make an impact, and withdraw. Their absence makes people talk, remember, and wait. This rhythm of appearing and disappearing keeps others emotionally unbalanced. They never feel fully satisfied, and in that subtle frustration, you gain control. The man who is always around is taken for granted. The one who is missed becomes unforgettable. Leaving people wanting more is not manipulation. It is strategy. It creates a psychological vacuum, a sense that something is incomplete. The human mind hates incompleteness, so it keeps thinking about you, replaying your words, analyzing your silence. That is how presence turns into influence. You stay in their mind long after you are gone because you did not give them closure. Power does not come from constant explanation. It comes from leaving questions unanswered. It's the pause after the sentence, the mystery behind the smile, the unfinished story that lingers. Those moments hold more power than any speech ever could. Every relationship, whether personal or political, follows this same law. Give too much, and you lose respect. Hold back just enough, and you create desire. People crave the attention of those who seem just out of reach. It makes them feel like they must earn your presence. And when they must earn it, they value it more deeply. This dynamic gives you the upper hand without confrontation. You no longer chase validation, you make others chase yours. Machiavelli would say that power lies not in what you give, but in what you withhold. The more people want from you, the tighter your control becomes. To master this, you must know when to walk away. From conversations, from conflicts, from admiration. Leaving at the right moment is an art. End interactions while their interest is still high, not after it fades. Withdraw when they expect more. It will confuse them, but it will also captivate them. Each time you return, they'll pay closer attention, afraid to miss something. Your scarcity trains their focus. Over time, they associate your presence with intensity, your absence with longing. That tension becomes your silent weapon. The discipline to withhold is rare because most people are ruled by the desire to be seen, understood, and appreciated. They overshare, overstay, and over-explain, giving away their mystery piece by piece. But the powerful resist that urge. They understand that to maintain influence, one must remain slightly out of reach. You can connect deeply without becoming predictable, inspire loyalty without surrendering your enigma. The most compelling figures in history left behind more questions than answers, and that is why their names still echo centuries later. When you leave them wanting more, you control the rhythm of attention. You decide when to engage and when to disappear. You transform yourself from a common presence into a rare experience. People wait for your return, wonder about your silence, and respect your restraint. You no longer compete for attention. You command it. Because in the psychology of power, mystery and absence are not weaknesses. They are your final, most elegant weapons. The powerful never give all of themselves away. They leave traces, not explanations. They leave desire, not satisfaction. Power doesn't belong to the loud, the predictable, or the exposed. It belongs to the one who understands silence, restraint, and mystery. The world fears what it cannot define. And when they cannot define you, they must respect you. Let them wonder about your motives. Let them question your strength. Let them talk in circles trying to understand you, while you move in silence, always 3 steps ahead. The mysterious man doesn't chase attention. He draws it. He doesn't explain. He lets others imagine. Remember this, in a world desperate to be seen, the one who hides becomes the most powerful of all. That is Machiavelli's way.